let's talk about a special pill, scenes that happen again, and what Einstein is all about in the movie. We'll also look at symbols like time is a lie and always etched into a rock. It's a bit like figuring out a puzzle. So today, we'll be explaining the movie Synchronic. Now, let's break it down into 3 themes. Number 1, relativity and time travel. Throughout the film, we encounter subtle nods to Einstein's theory of relativity. In simple terms, this theory suggests that time and space are connected. Traveling faster through space means moving slower through time. It's a concept that plays a significant role in the movie. Synchronic loosely incorporates these time travel ideas. The synchronic pill, or the time travel device, uncovers a truth about time similar to Einstein's theory. Time isn't straight or one way, it's interconnected. This explains the words, "Time is a lie," written on a wall by someone who took the pill. Dr. Carmani, the pill's creator, mentions that synchronic affects the pineal gland, allowing us to experience time differently. He sketches a 3-dimensional diagram, highlighting that time isn't linear. Moving into the more imaginative part of the synchronic pill, Steve figures out that the time travel pill has some rules. Rule number 1 says only folks with pineal glands that aren't hard can use the synchronic pill. Basically, it works on younger people, like teenagers. Brianna, a teenager in the story, is affected by it. But here's the twist. Steve's tumor keeps his pineal gland from getting hard, so even in his 40s, he can use the pill to time travel. Rule number 2 is about where you take the pill. The time you travel to depends on where you are. For instance, the X on the couch takes Steve to the swamp, and the X on the floor takes him to the Ice Age. Rule number 3 is a bit like a time limit. Once you're back in the past, you've got 7 minutes to get back to the exact spot where you took the pill. If you don't, you won't make it back to the present. So, there you have it. The pill's rules for a time travel adventure. Number 2. Parallel universes. In the movie, there are some rules about the special pill. Rule number 1, if you don't go back to the spot in time, you need to take another pill and wait 7 minutes again. Rule number 4 is about things you can take with you to the past and bring back. They must be in direct contact with you. In the film, we see a blade, a coin, and a leash brought back from the past. Unfortunately, the dog, Hawking, couldn't come back because Steve wasn't touching him at the 7-minute mark. To stay in the right spot, you can use things from the present, like the fold-out chair that Steve used. The main idea here connects with what Einstein said, as Steve quotes in the film, "The difference between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly consistent illusion." It means that time is tricky, and what we think of as past, present, and future might not be as separate as we believe. This quote connects a lot with the ending, and we'll revisit it towards the video's close. Now, let's delve into theme number 2, parallel universes. The idea of parallel universes or parallel timelines is not new. You might have seen it in movies like Avengers, Endgame, or All My Friends Are Dead. To be clear, let's look at it from an all my friends are dead lens. So, the theory is this. With endless time and space, there are infinite universes. Each has realities that might be a bit or a lot different from our own universe. This theme of parallel timelines is a big deal in Synchronic. Carmani, explaining how the synchronic pill works, says, "You drop the needle on the song you want to play, but they're always there, these tracks, like time." Basically, all timelines exist at once, side by side, like tracks on a record. The synchronic pill acts like the needle, choosing which track or timeline we enter. The movie's cinematography adds to this idea of non-linear timelines and parallel universes. We see time going backward, different viewpoints in reverse, and paths running parallel. In one scene, there's a shot of infinite reflections of Steve and Dennis, emphasizing the concept of multiple timelines. At their booth, showing different versions of themselves from other universes, is a clear symbol. But what really stands out is when the movie reveals alternate scenes of events we've already seen. For example, Brianna is happier with her family in one version, and Tara and Dennis seem more content together. There's also a scene where Brianna and Steve talk more at the Rock. I noticed these scenes mostly occur when Steve is in therapy. During therapy, Steve realizes he's nearing the end of his life and becomes very reflective. The film seems to be saying something important here. By showing us these alternate realities, it's like a mirror reflecting how we think about our past decisions. The characters, especially Steve and Dennis, struggle with reflecting on their past mistakes throughout the movie. Now, let's explore this struggle deeply, as it's the final and most important theme of the film. Finally, number 3, gratitude versus regret. The main focus of the film is on alternate universes and parallel timelines, all centering around a painful question that haunts the characters. The question is, what if I had done things differently? This question brings forth regret, causing pain, depression, and dissatisfaction for our main characters, Steve and Dennis. Regret becomes a central issue in the film, something both Steve and Dennis must confront. Although they are of the same age and share the same job, their lives have taken vastly different paths due to their choices and external events. Steve envies Dennis's family life, with kids and a lasting marriage, while Dennis is envious of Steve's single, obligation-free life. Interestingly, both characters fail to appreciate the beauty of their own lives. Dennis constantly dwells on what he dislikes about his wife, criticizing her bra size, underwear, and music taste. Even Brianna, Dennis's wife, acknowledges this when she says to Steve, "My dad thinks it's better to stay single," while Steve copes with losing his family by turning to alcohol and drugs. This makes him tired and not as good at his job. Many grown-ups often focus on regret instead of being thankful as they get older. I think that's why the synchronic pill only works for teenagers. The pineal gland is also called the third eye, linked to creativity, connecting with others, and enlightenment. In teenagers, this third eye is still open because their pineal gland isn't hardened yet. Unlike adults, teenagers can live fully in the moment without big regrets. Even Carmine, a character in the movie, regrets his choices and ends up harming himself due to these regrets. We hear about this on the radio while Steve is in his car. The director and actors do a great job showing Steve and Dennis as very lonely and isolated. They appear very lonely, dealing with cops who tease them, inexperienced co-workers, and a somewhat cold doctor. However, the main source of tension is Steve and Dennis feeling jealous of each other's lives and not appreciating what they have. As the story unfolds, events near the end change everything. Dennis loses Brianna, making him remember the deep love he had for his wife and how much she meant to both of them. For Steve, it's his terminal illness that brings a realization. Knowing he might not live much longer, he understands the importance of appreciating the simple fact that we are alive. These events make both of them lose regret and gain gratitude in different ways. The clock keeps ticking down, and as the numbers drop, Steve realizes how precious the present moment is. This realization hits him hard, especially when he thinks about Brianna, who has a lot more life ahead of her than he does. In a heartfelt moment, Steve decides to give Brianna the same synchronic pill. There's a bit of a struggle as a person with a gun tries to stop Steve, raising the question of who wrote the mysterious message, "Always." It couldn't have been Brianna because she didn't even know about the message when Steve asked her. She was genuinely puzzled. So, it must have been Steve from the past. Steve wrote the message on the rock after saving Brianna, understanding that this message would be a clue for him and Dennis to know where and when to save her. The always message becomes a crucial link in the timeline, connecting past and present. He wrote it to to show everything he and Dennis learned while searching for Brianna. Always represents all the ways we can live our lives and make choices. In the movie, it also means the endless timelines and universes that exist, as mentioned by Carmani earlier. Imagine dropping the needle on a song. They're all always there. This connects to Einstein's words in the film, which we talked about before. Steve shares a story about Einstein's letter, saying that for those who believe in physics, the past, present, and future are just illusions. This quote ties in perfectly with the movie's end. Steve might face danger soon, either from those trying to harm him or from his brain tumor. But, like Einstein and his friend, Steve will always be with Dennis. As long as Dennis appreciates the time with Steve and his loving family, Steve's presence stays. Before leaving, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Click the thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support means a lot and keeps our movie talks going. Don't miss out. Hit the notification bell so you're the first to know about our new videos. Stay tuned for more fun movie discussions. And see you next time.